Here today we are reviewing Barbenheimer. So both movies back to back. I saw them both back to back. Barbie first, Oppenheimer second, and I would not recommend it. Like I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend watching them back to back. I recommend both movies. I wouldn't recommend watching them back to back. I don't know why the internet got fixated on that. But hey, it did buffo bucks for both the studios, the creators, the actors, like everybody involved got a lot of money out of it. So I guess it's a good thing. But yeah, I would not recommend watching it back to back. It's a long day in the theater for two movies that are good. They're good movies. But anyway, you'll see. So let's start with Barbie. I actually really enjoyed it. It was funny. It is a comedy. It is very funny for most of the runtime. Ryan Gosling steals it out of the park. And let's start going through the rating systems. I don't have a lot of time. So, story, plot, and premise. Really, really refreshing. It's actually an original story by the director and another writer, Noah Baumbach, who's another director. He did the Marriage Story. I think it's called The Marriage Story on Netflix. Really, really great movie. Anyway, this movie really good. And I don't know. The plot and premise is really good. Let me leave it there. Sound design and score, really great. They didn't use Aqua's "I'm a Barbie Girl" because famously Mattel sued. They sued Aqua for using the Barbie, aesthetic world, whatever it is. But I gotta give Aqua credit because I feel like their music video and like what they did back then attributed a lot to like what this looks like. Because I mean, this is the Barbie like aesthetic. They literally took it, and we'll talk about that in the cinematography and stuff. But literally, matter of fact, I'll talk about it now. The cinematography in this movie really fucking great. The scenes of traversing from Barbie Land to the real world, just those are gonna stay in my brain for a long time. That was a good scene. There's other things too. The she's in a corporate office and they try to put her in a box. And like a lot of scenes are gonna really like just stay in my brain for the Mount Rushmore as horses. It's just a lot of stuff. But yeah. So back to this. To the sound design, like I said, really good. They used I think like a remix or like whatever it is, the Nicki Minaj thing, but that's at the end. So and there wasn't really like a big like sorry, how can I forget? The big musical number from this was the Ken song, which is amazing. I love it. Again, Ryan Gosling firing on all cylinders. Really good. The cinematography, like I said, amazing, really good. Like when you're in the Barbie world, you really feel like you're in the Barbie world. A lot of the the regular stuff that happens in the real world is okay, but you really want to go back to Barbie world the whole time. Acting, like I said, Ryan Gosling knocked it out of the park. Margot Robbie as Barbie, really good. The other cast, the other Kens were good. The other Barbies were really good. Midge, for the 3 seconds they put her in the movie, was good. You'll get that reference if you watch the movie. Yeah, it was really good. Weird Barbie is my favorite, but that's me. And yeah, all the acting was really good. There was nobody that stood out bad. I mean, Will Ferrell was in it as Will Ferrell, and like he's in every movie. But it was really good. I liked his character. Didn't really serve much of a purpose. Like that whole thing could have just not been there. And then there's also like this sequence that happens within the corporate thing that just made it kind of goofy. Where I'm like, okay, we're in the real world, not in the Barbie world, so it doesn't make sense for this to be here. But it's whatever. I liked Will Ferrell in it anyway. Like I like him and everything, so it's all right. Directing, really well directed. I gotta say, there's not really a lot of fat to cut. Everything was fast paced. Everything happened at lightning speed. You understood everything. Even the musical numbers were well placed, and they were really fucking good. I don't know. I mean, okay, I got to ding it on something, right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. This might be a 5 out of 5 movie. I guess cinematography, no, because like I said, no. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I gotta give it a 5 out of 5. Barbie just it delivered. I like, to me, I wasn't expecting that great of a movie, but it delivered really well, and really spoke to me, even as a man, like especially Ken's story and how it is to traverse the world. Anyway, all right, just go watch Barbie. It's really good. It's on theaters now. I think it hit like 1 billion, and yeah, it's really good. So watch it. All right, next we have Oppenheimer. So for this one, not gonna spend a lot of time. Oh, I thought I muted everything. Sorry. Not gonna spend a lot of time on it. The story, plot, and premise is good, but to me, that's really where it kind of faltered. But we're gonna circle back to that. The sound design and score, really good. Like, you hear the explosions really exploding. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm gonna ding it still for the sound, because even though, yes, you hear the explosions exploding and all this other stuff, whatever, I don't know what it is with Nolan's films. The dialogue, like, literally, he should just put subtitles in, like, just automatic. All his movies have to have subtitles, because he chooses to do the sound design the way that he does. And, like, I don't want to rewatch this movie. Let's put it that way. Like, I'm glad I watched it. It's not a bad movie. I'm not going to rewatch it. So I'm not going to understand a lot of the things that were said. Even the things that I did understand, again, you have to have, like, a PhD in physics to really understand half of the stuff they're saying when they're, like, in the classroom setting or talking about the bomb specifically. Like, a lot of it is very science-based. Like, really, really, like, the dialogue is really science-based. And that might lose a lot of people. And it's a very dialogue-heavy film, but not all of it is about that. But majority of the time when they're speaking about that stuff, the audio is very clear, but you don't really care what they're saying. And then when the audio is bad, it's when you actually give a fuck. Like, oh, what the fuck did he say? Like, that's important, you know? Anyway, cinematography, beautiful. I'm not going to ding it. Cinematography, beautiful. I love the explosions, how they look in the eye, like in the mind of Oppenheimer. They do this thing where he could see the stuff, like the sciencey working in his brain. Like, it's really good. The acting, top notch. All the actors in it. There are so many people here. Even just some people, you're like, what the like, this person's a big ass actor. He has like 3 lines in the movie. Amazing. Doesn't matter. Great acting. All the way around. I gotta have this again, stand out for my fellas out there. You're gonna love Florence Pugh in this movie. Oh, I love her so much. Okay, directing. I'm again, very well directed. It is Christopher Nolan. I might dig him for directing because, again, even though, again, the movie is it's like a 3-hour long movie. It's cut really well where it moves really fast, so you don't feel like it's really 3 hours. But again, it's very dialogue heavy, so if you're not into that, you might actually feel the 3 hours. And the only reason I'm digging him for directing is because, again, he chose to do the sound design the way that he did, which, again, a lot of people have criticized the fact that they can't hear the character speaking, and he's okay with it, and I'm not. So that's just, to me, that's bad directing, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm not a director, so whatever. But so I'm gonna dig him for directing. Oh, back to story, plot, and premise. The reason I'm digging him for the story, plot, and premise as well is because, you know what? Let me not ding him for that. Let me not. The reason I was going to is because in the trailers, like if you watch the trailers, you're going to think, oh man, there's explosions galore in this movie, right? You're going to see all the times they tested the atomic bomb. You're going to see when they dropped the atomic bomb. You're not seeing none of that stuff. None of that stuff. I mean, not none of that stuff. You're seeing it like maybe one time, right? One time for real. There's like other little fake ones that, again, happen in his mind. But there's like one that's like the real one, the real test that they did. And then they don't show it again, which I, for one, like after watching Barbie, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna like I watched this comedy or whatever. I'm gonna watch this serious drama, but at least it's gonna have like a little bit of action where it's like you know. And again, Nolan is known for Dunkirk, Inception, obviously the Batman movies. But I'm trying to think of like outside the Batman movies, Tenet. Like there was action infused with all the drama in those movies. So I was expecting a lot more, let's say, action in this movie than there was. There was not a lot. Again, it's very dialogue heavy, a lot of talking, a lot of not a lot happening, I guess, if you don't really care. But and again, if it wasn't for the fact that I couldn't hear half the dialogue half the time for a dialogue heavy film, I wouldn't be this upset. But then also the trailers made it seem like this is going to be a lot of bombs and stuff, and it wasn't. And that kind of, took the wind out of my sails, like, for the movie, you know? Like, halfway through, I'm like, okay, we're never going to see this bomb. And then when we do see the bomb, I'm like, all right, great. But then they, like, they have, like, a clever way of showing the after effects of what happens, like, how they use it, where they use it, historically, if you remember. But I would have rather seen it happen. I feel like the consequences of those events, seeing those events in real time, in real life, that is like a real visceral reminder of why this matters, you know? And I feel like they kind of dodged, like, they didn't really address it. Like, I understand seeing it through Oppenheimer's eyes and all this stuff, and again, it's Oppenheimer's story. I'm not taking away from his story. But the way they sold it is more about, you know, the father of the atomic bomb. This is the story of the atomic bomb, and it was really the story of Oppenheimer. Like, his faults, him as a human, his infidelities, like, all these things that I'm like, I mean, it was, again, written very well and all this other stuff, but not what I was expecting, and it really let me down. So to me, I think I have to ding him for the story, like the way it was told. The last half of the movie, I felt was really good compared to the first half of the movie, if you know what I mean. Like when they switched to the black and white and the whole, it's like they have like a little trial type of thing. I really like that kind of movie, but it felt like two different movies in a way. And the second half was better than the first half, in my opinion, just off the fact that, to me, that felt more not action based, but it felt a little bit more well paced than before in the other one. So, sorry for plot and premise, I'm gonna ding him for that. The sound design and score, because again, can't hear the characters half the time, I'm sorry. And the directing, I said I was gonna ding him for directing just because he chose to do the thing. I don't want to give it a 2 out of 5 because it's not a bad movie. It's really not. Now I gotta go with my list. Sorry. So yeah, cinematography great, acting great. I'm gonna ding him for the story. I'm gonna ding him for sound design or score, and I'm gonna ding him for the directing. So 2 out of 5 for Oppenheimer. I would still recommend checking it out. It's still a great Christopher Nolan film. I think he's with Universal now, so it's gonna be on. Where's Universal? Not Paramount Plus. Is it Paramount Plus? That's Paramount. Peacock? I think it will be on Peacock. Eventually, you know, down the line. But I would recommend seeing it in theaters. I don't know if they still have the IMAX or the big screens anymore because other movies have come out since then. But I recommend it, you know, like, out of the two, though, if you have a choice, I would recommend watching Barbie over Oppenheimer, unfortunately. But yeah, that's my take on the Barbenheimer craze. See you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the movie, if you saw the movie, if you want to see the movie, what did you think of my assessment? Anyway, see you guys later.